we are going to solve x squared minus 16x plus 73 equals 0 using the process of completing the square. So this is exercise 23 in the text in section 9.2, problem 10 in the section 9.2 homework. So the first thing we would do would be to isolate the constant. In this case, that requires us adding negative 73 to both sides of the equation. If we look at the original equation in standard form, we're thinking of it as ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. We have to realize that the term x squared is really 1x squared. That 1 is unwritten. A is always the coefficient of x squared, so in this case a is 1. B is the coefficient of x, so b is negative 16. C is the constant, so in this original equation, which was in standard form, c is 73. So the standard form is when 0 is on one side of the equation, everything else is on the other side. If a was different from 1, I would divide every term of the equation by a. Since a is 1, I get to skip that step. Now I'm going to add on the constant that makes the left side a perfect square trinomial. So I'm always adding on a perfect square. I look at the coefficient b, which is negative 16. I can ignore the negative since I'm going to be squaring this. The negative is going to disappear in this process, so I just ignore it. So I can either look at what I'm adding on as the square of 16 times 1/2, square of b times 1/2, or I can think of it as the square of b divided by 2. These are the same thing, just different ways of thinking about it. It's convenient to look at it as 16b times 1/2 is b if b is a fraction. It's more convenient to look at it as b, the square of b over 2, if b is an integer, as it is in this case. So when I square 16 over 2, I'm actually squaring 8. On the left, I now have x squared minus 16x plus 8 squared. Notice that that factors into the square of x minus 8. When I leave the first and third term written as something squared, that helps me to see what goes into the binomial that I'm squaring. And then whatever sign is in front of my x term is the sign of that binomial. On the left, I'm going to look at the 8 squared as plus 64. So negative 73 plus 64 is negative 9. So the square of x minus 8 equals negative 9. I'm going to lose the exponent of 2 by applying plus or minus square root to the constant negative 9. So x minus 8 equals plus or minus square root of negative 9. And we're going to write the square root of negative 9 as the square root of 9 times the square root of negative 1. We know the square root of 9 is 3, and we have to remember that the square root of negative 1 is I. So x minus 8 is plus or minus 3i. I'm going to isolate x by adding an 8 to both sides of the equation. And that goes in front of the plus or minus. So x is 8 plus or minus 3i. So in my solution set, I have two solutions. One of them is 8 minus 3i. The other is 8 plus 3i. So these are the solutions I'm going to be entering into my math lab. My math lab already has the braces for me. So I type in 8 minus 3i, comma, 8 plus 3i, and check, and that is the correct answer.